We're gonna be live. We are live, Brian. This
Hello.
is the Real and Raw, and I am Lynn, and you are.
Ring my bell. Brian Kelm here. I
Oh my
just
gosh.
had to. I couldn't
Yeah, I
resist.
know, right? We'll go into why he said that here in a minute, but for right now, we'll be right back after this. Okay, so why he say ring my bell? Well, it's my sister called like seconds beforehand, and if I didn't answer, she'd keep ringing. So he talked about ringing my bell.
Yeah. Lynn made it very clear that if she didn't answer it, we would have many more phone calls on this broadcast. So
Yeah. And so
that's
you
that
guys
song came to
today,
mind.
that's right. So today we're supposed to be talking about Lynn talk about self-development books and education choices. But it's really funny. And I think things happen when they're supposed to happen and all those things, they happen for you. And Rex had a really great topic today. And it was like um, magical outside brings inside magic or whatever. That's here nor there. The point I'm getting at is it's amazing when you're into self-development and books. And I mean, this is why I love Rex's book, Life on Your Terms, is because Rex has over 40 something years. And oh, we've got Scott Rickard.
Scott, Mr.
Thank you.
Florida.
Thank you for being here. Love you, guy. Love you so much. And I'm kind of glad he's here too, because in Rex's room today, he brings up a good point, and this is a good point for everybody, is that I've learned with, him being my mentor and being a friend, that truly self-development is such an evolving of yourself that we didn't spend time knowing ourselves. And
Right.
so here we're layers and layers of conditioning from everybody and everything we've heard and everyone's opinions and all this stuff, and we don't spend time with ourselves. And that's the biggest thing I say anymore, is it's an inside job. and
Yep.
and with that said, I mean, when I started thinking, gee, what books have, self-development have I had, and education and all these different things, we all have the hard knocks of education, right? We
Hmm.
that's given. You don't get to be 56 years old and not had different kinds of experiences. And
100%.
hi, Jackie. How are
Jackie.
you? And here's my other co-host,
Debbie.
Debbie. So glad you guys are
Hey,
here.
Debbie.
But and Debbie was there for a little bit in Rex's class today. But all I'm saying is what I've learned is that, you know, I'd say sometimes I wish I knew now what I didn't know then and all that stuff, but that wouldn't have changed who I was. I mean, and there's stories, and I always like always wishing that other people wouldn't make the same mistakes I would, but everybody has to make their mistakes. And hi, Mary
Mary.
Kay.
Hey,
And
Mary.
so the thing is that I was going to make a list of books that have changed me and all these things, but half those books don't apply. There were things that that right now, I guess that the joke is on you guys to see the topic as far as the self-development books and education choices. Basically, it doesn't matter. Who cares what Lynn learned and what she had? This is about you guys and what you learn.
Great
And
point.
all I can say is you need to do the research for yourself. I mean, people wonder, why is she so happy? And I wrote a quick ass book last year and it was half my life. It wasn't the whole thing. But the point is once I released it. I don't go back to those pages. I don't live there. If somebody that's still lost feels like my story will help them, because there's stories I've heard in the past that have helped me to come out of where I was, those are necessary. If you're still in that point in your life that you don't want to face your life and you want to hear a story, then go read that. That's fine. But I really wouldn't encourage anybody's gone through self-development. We really don't care to read about other people's lives because we're working on our own. And
Hmm.
really, that sounds selfish, but it's not. You want to know why it's not selfish? Because when you understand yourself, you have compassion with other people, you're more interested in how you can help them, not you anymore. So
Correct.
it's one of those things where the joke is on you. I mean, I could tell you what books to read, And I even gift this book every now and then. I can't make you read it. I can't make you take actions. I can't change your life. No one can change your life but you. But one thing I want to give you on April Fool's Day that is no freaking joke is the fact that the freedom is when you say you're not happy right now, I'm going to call bullshit on that, because you are affirming that that's where you want to be. Because all just like this, even prisoners are not prisoners because they've got their mind. They can live on a beach. They can assume whatever the hell they want, and they're not in prison. Think about that. Your mindset, whatever, like Henry Ford saying, I'm not doing it right, is whatever you think about is what you get. You're always right. Whatever. I don't even want to quote anybody. What I want to say is that the truth is that you are like, I'm having a hard time hearing anybody's excuses and woes me's anymore. Cause I just don't want to hear it, because you should be happy. And when I mean by happy is that thought doesn't serve you. Let it go. Find something that serves you to survive. Serve yourself. I'm just trying to preach it here, but I need to say hi to people here real quick.
Theodora.
Happy to Theodora, love you. And so your boy Cal, I don't even, you want to translate that for me? Cal. Yeah. What I mean is I've learned from Rex that reaffirming and talking about things that happened 20 minutes ago that you didn't like is only going to reaffirm that you're going to get more of that shit more. Like he goes, shits are diamonds. I mean, I'm to the point where it's not I have no compassion. Hey, I've messed up a lot. I've even messed up as a mother, and we're going through things. My kids lost their dad, and that's hard and that's rough, and I got to listen and deal with the past, but I can't change it. We can keep talking about it. We can be angry about it. We can't change what's happened. And I mean, I'll take responsibility for all my part, but the point is when you don't know any better, you don't do any better. So am I going to still live that every day? No, I'm not. All I can do is go forward. And all I can do is be a better person now. So, but anyhow, I'm done talking and ranting right now. So what do you got to say about all I said, Brian?
I didn't want to put it in there. Otherwise you might, cut me off, like,
go for it.
So there were two things that were presenced by what you said. Is number one is that, in my opinion, and it's like, thank you, Lynn, for sharing what you did, because it presents to me like the foundation of personal development begins with how much time you give yourself to think every day, right? Like that's access. That's like the beginning of personal development, in my opinion, because you're doing it for you in a selfish way, but in a great way. Because as we've already established, and Jim Rohn said, you cannot be your best. You cannot be the best for other people unless you're best for yourself first, right? And so the access and the gateway to personal development, in my opinion, is ask yourself, how much time are you giving yourself every day? Like it might be a rhetorical question, but like if you're a night person or a morning person, how much time are you giving yourself just to think? With no music, no distractions, no whatever. You journal, you write down what you got to do. You write down projects you need to do, like whatever it might be. But like an access to personal development is being clear in your own head, right? So thank you for giving me that distinction and understanding. The second one is that these books are not anything new, like these resources, right? We can tell you what to read, what pages, whatever. It doesn't mean you're going to do anything with it. And case in point, a lot of the books that anybody's ever read, Lynn and I and everybody else, that watches this, is that they're no secret that Napoleon Hill, W. Clement Stone, any of these other people have, they wrote these books many, many years ago, and it's like they're foundational. But how come people still wonder, like, hey, I want something good to read that's a foundation? It's not the book. It's number one, reading it. So obviously you have to allocate time towards it, but then actually applying what's there, so just by giving somebody a set of resources, I know, and I'm sure Lynn knows, is that when we coach people or try to help people, we can give them the keys to the castle, but it doesn't mean that they're going to open up the door. There's Debbie's book right there. So that was another thing too, is that we can give you the keys to the castle, but the resources that might have worked for us might not work for you. Just like when you hear something, it might have worked when it's said one way versus you hear it differently from somebody else and it resonates, you know? So that's
Well,
what stands out.
and just like marketing, just like anything else, you've got to hear stuff 20 billion times before you
Yep.
buy or drink the coffee or the Kool-Aid,
The
okay?
coffee, the
The
coffee.
coffee or the Kool-Aid or whatever you drink, okay?
Right.
But the bottom line and what I'm passionate to say is that this is why I've kind of halted taking and coaching people right now, because I'm like, you know what?
Right.
I'm not looking to collect a paycheck from these people. If they just keep want to come back and hear me speak, I could stay in a room myself and speak to myself, and at least I'd be listening. So,
Right.
bottom line is there's so many of us want to help people, but we can't help people that don't want to help themselves. So all
100%.
we can do is when we help ourselves more and we're we're a part we're the outcome of helping ourselves, then other people start taking notice and want to help themselves. But again, I want to say that my premise has always been for myself is to be the best person I could be right now that I can live with. And some of my choices I always know came from the heart. They weren't right choices. I really screwed up for being a nice person. I screwed myself up, but my intentions were good. And because my
Yeah.
intentions were good, I was still blessed by them because my heart is always centered. Just like Brian, and Debbie can tell you, I'm hard sometimes when I give feedback, but
Yeah.
it's comes from a place of love. And I'm glad these people know this because I don't say it like malicious. I say it with the passion to be like, don't F up, do this, don't do
Right.
this, or to give them another hindsight. And they can still choose what they want to do. I'm gonna love them, but I want to give them that different perspective and give you that other example. If anything, everyone, you should love everybody in your world because they gave you something to be or not to be. And yet
Yeah.
you get to choose what you want from that. And
Well,
don't forget that.
and when you
It was
care more than some, like let's say for instance, you give somebody coaching about here are the resources, here are the courses, here's something to consider. It's a choice if they do it, but also though if they keep coming back to you and you've given them those resources, when you care more about their success and disrupting where they are mentally and physically and spiritually, when you care more about where they're at, than they do, there's a problem. And eventually you have to cut ties, not from
yeah,
the person, but just from, hey, I'm going to give you a little tough love. I've given you these resources. This is what worked for me. It might not have worked for you, but you have not done anything with any of this. And it came
right,
back again and
right.
again and again. And eventually it's tough love time. Like,
Yeah. Well, the
I
thing I
can't do the work
found
for
is
you.
where my success has not been as glorious lately is the fact that I've been helping people that truly don't want to help themselves.
Right.
And for
Right.
me to sit there and give them examples, I'm stuck in my examples and I'm not being blessed by going forward.
Right.
So it's
Right.
one of those things that, I look around here and I've got shelves of books in this one corner that's horrendous. But I look over there and I could tell you half those books I'm not into anymore. And I mean, I'm into health and nutrition and I got rid of a lot of those and I still have some that I want. But the point I'm saying is I'm going to take the ones that going to feed my soul now that bring me joy, and the other
Yep.
ones I'm going to probably give them as giveaways on our shows where people want to pay just for the shipping, they can have it. I
Sure.
mean, whatever. I mean,
Yep.
I'm done. But again, it could serve a purpose for somebody else, if they're there. We're all have different ways to learn and different things. But that's what I love about Rex's teaching, especially with neurolinguistics and all these things. He always gives what we've all known. There was an article I posted yesterday on my wall that he has all these great quotes, and they're guides for us. So if you guys go on my page and you find that article from yesterday, he has lots of quotes, and those are principles and guides that we should be following. And come on, Rex has his own quotes, but this man always quotes the ones that he believes that we should all like, duh, get it. He'll always say in his articles, get it, see that, why not? And so you can't tell somebody when they're looking for their glasses and they're looking around, they can't see their glasses because they're not really focused on that.
Correct.
and asking yourself the questions instead of asking the questions, why this and that happened to me? Why don't you say, how can this be better? What can I learn from this? I mean, it's just you're not asking yourself better questions. And really, I remember my granddaughter. Kids are they're amazing. My granddaughter Rayleigh, she used to cry, and when the minute she cried, she'd go, ah! And she'd stick her finger in her thumb. She knew how to soothe her. She's like, nobody wants to hear this crap, and she'd tap herself off.
Smart
And so,
girl. Smart
yeah,
girl.
so again, we forget that there's just so many layers and layers we'd allowed. And then so many people that I know that are miserable right now that I've tried to help, and I've listened for a long time. But I'll tell you what, this is no April Fool's Day joke. When they come back knocking, I've had enough. I've had enough to say, well, we've talked about this story before, but tell me something new. Tell me something new, or tell me something when I'm happy. And Rex always says, ask yourself, what is new, and what do you have to be happy about right now?
Right.
And I mean, truly, we're friends. We're out of time, and we still got few people watching us. So, is there anything you want to say in closing? Because I'll tell you what, I've become very passionate about this, and you're going to really see this atonement of Lynn, and how I'm so done with nonsense. We're really here trying to just give you guys, and we're going to continue to give you guys food to help you grow and for you to think. We always want it to be what you think, not what we think. And
Well,
so,
especially how virtual our world is, and with the new generations coming out, it's they want all the answers, but they don't want to do anything to get their own answers. That's why it's in one ear and out the other. It's just kind of like to fill this void, but it's not anything that they retain. And so, ask yourself, instead of, if you need help or whatever, what are you doing? It's kind of like in my mastermind group. I don't, unless somebody is, it's very easy for somebody to say, how would you handle this situation? Versus, well, what have you done so far? Why are you running into roadblocks? So it actually shows initiative
or
than
say,
looking for answers.
or yeah, exactly. Or saying, Brian, you asked that question, but did you ask yourself that question?
Exactly. Right.
Because are you saying that you rather hear us than yourself? Because Brian, the bottom line is that always the best answer is what you got to say, not me.
Correct.
So think about that. Think about
And
that.
and the other thing to ponder this weekend before we go is, what are you doing to disrupt your normal way of being? What are you doing to disrupt where you are right now? Because it's all on you. And you can't blame, you can't make excuses if you're not leading that charge. Because if you don't lead that charge, nobody else will. Because it's your life, your terms, and your way of being.
Yeah.
Nobody else can change that besides you. So what are you doing to disrupt? And as Lynn got me to think, I think it was January of 2021. I've held on to that word as my word for the second straight year, is disruption. Disrupt every part of my life to uncomfortable levels. And it feels great because I'm not sitting there with concrete on my feet. And it feels awesome because I'm just showing up and I'm being my authentic self.
And Debbie goes, "Oh, I like that, Brian. I can't do it. I can't do it as good as she does."
Yeah.
And gosh. So anyways, I'm fired up to say, you guys, it's not about what damn Lynn reads or what she read or where she been. It's
Nope.
about where you are, where you want to go. And don't keep looking at the damn rearview mirror, because that's not where you're going.
Nope.
Okay? Think and live and be in the moment as of right now. Be the best you can be right now. One thing I think would help everybody is the 4 agreements. Be
Oh,
impeccable,
there you go.
and do the best you can today, right now, because your best is always going to be at your, wherever you're at. And so I can go so on here, but I'm just so fired up. I just feel like we're so grateful you guys are come and watch us, and we're so grateful that you're a part here. But don't don't hesitate to tell us what you'd like to, whatever topic you want us to chew up and spit out what we feel about, because that's what we're being raw and real. And we learn, and our perspectives change every day from the things we learn and the things we've been through. And when we're fed up with shit, sometimes that's when people move. So maybe you're not fed up or where you're at yet, but I hope you realize that you're not stuck there. It's all in your head. It's an inside job. Change it, and then the world will change around you. So enough said. We're out of here. Bye.
Happy weekend, everyone.